Okay, so another one, and again, this has been really kind of a hot question. There was a lot of questions centered around this, so we kind of like grouped them into this single question. But ultimately, the question here is: do the Uniform Guidance Procurement Standards apply to procurements that will be charged to the award as indirect costs or as indirect? So, keep in mind, right, in your budget justification, you have equipment, supplies, contractuals. Those are all lines in the budget, right? But then you have a line that just says indirect. And that's where you will be allocating your indirect costs and recovering it. And so purchases that may be in there may be home office furniture. They may be professional services costs for, kind of overall organizational needs like accounting or legal or something of that nature. So these purchases with indirect dollars that'll be charged to your rate, they're not subject to the procurement standards. So a lot of organizations are very happy to hear that because that means that you don't have to completely change the way that you are purchasing things throughout the entirety of the organization. You just have to change the way that you would purchase direct project related expenditures. So on the direct side, the procurement standards do apply, which really the main focus of those is to implement the proper flow down provisions for public law, and then also to instill an element of competition. And so those do apply to your direct purchases that you would budget in equipment and supplies and contractual line items in your budget. But the ones that are coming through the indirect, those are really only subject to the cost principles for allowability. It's the same as if you were claiming labor and indirect. The labor and indirect, it has to be allowable, allocable, and reasonable. That's the same thing that the contractual services and indirect or equipment or supplies, they would all be subject to that, but they're not subject to the same, kind of competition requirements that you see on the direct side as well. So there's a little bit of a relief there from the associated administrative burden.